Okay, so before I actually start talking about this extremely controversial topic, I just want to give a brief disclaimer. This is not a hate video. This video is the simple sum of my experience up to this point, and what I think right now will probably not reflect me in the next 5 years. This is simply an open conversation. I am someone who is always open to a different point of view, and I really want to be respectful to this topic. And if you think that I'm wrong, please don't rage about it. Just let me know in the comments like friendly, beautiful people that I am sure you are, and I will respond respectively. And if you manage to change my point of view, I will be happy to make an updated video on this topic. For now, let's just get started with this video. So I think by now most people have seen the teaser trailer for The Little Mermaid. And The Little Mermaid looks, well, a little different. She got like one hell of a tan. No wait, that's a completely different race. Yeah, so they changed her race, and let's sit and talk about it for 5-10 minutes or so. Definitely not something you should want to waste your time with, but here you are, so may as well stay. And this is definitely not the first time this has happened. I think that The Little Mermaid is just the biggest one yet. Frankly speaking, I don't really care about The Little Mermaid. I never cared much for the original, and I don't really care if they change her race in the new live action, because I was just never too much into this property to begin with. But I can imagine my feelings would be a bit different if I was a huge fan of that property. I have definitely seen the race and even the sex of my favorite characters changed on the big screen. The question is, why does Hollywood change the race of characters? The first reason might be trying to be a contrarian, i.e. doing that what most people will not expect and get some free publicity for your movie. The other reason might be inclusion, where they are genuinely trying to do the right thing, where a person of any race can play a character of a different race. Let's talk about the first reason, the garbage one, where studios change the race of character just to be a contrarian, and they know that this will get people's attention. Whether it's in a positive way or a negative way, they only care about the attention part. Maybe they don't even care about the politics and may even just have a completely different political stance, but they look at the numbers and they love the free marketing. I mean, why spend millions of extra money on marketing your product when people will just do it for you? People like YouTuber, no matter how bad a movie is, just by talking about the movie gives it free clout, and the movie studios count on it. They definitely count on YouTubers, and I'm definitely one of those YouTubers. I am not innocent at all. It's almost a new trend in Hollywood to bait people like that when they do something outrageous. They already know that it will get a lot of hate, and they absolutely are ready for it. And there is another group, and that group is just a little bit more outrageous than the last one. This group is simply spiteful and hateful. Just like sometimes YouTubers can make spiteful videos and hating on movies, there are people like that in the Hollywood, just on the opposite spectrum. They hate the masses and even the audiences, and they purposefully make a bad show that they know that everyone will unanimously hate, and they are expecting that, and when the hate starts, they are laughing because things are going exactly like how they planned. Real world example would be the She-Hulk show. When the hired creators made the show, they laughed at how bad of a job they did and still got paid for it. And when normal people hear about this, they think that this is completely idiotic. Why do studios hire these people to make bad shows, and most importantly bad shows that make no money? The answer to that question is, well, they have money to burn. But you see, the thing about money and big studio projects is that the money is not infinite, and big studio projects are not cheap to make. Sooner or later they will run out of money. Even the biggest studios like Marvel, Disney, they will eventually have to reevaluate their strategy going forward. Only time will tell. Now the second reason that I talked about was inclusion. Now this is a bit tricky for me to talk about because I am assuming that the intentions are pure and they just want to make the world a better place. Arguing with this will definitely be a bit tricky for me to talk about it, but I will try. So the point is that people don't like when the race of the characters is changed in the adaptations, right? Well, actually no. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think that people care about the race part. I think if we have to be more precise, it has to be the appearance part. Because no one hates Gal Gadot for playing Wonder Woman, even though she's from Israel. And why is that? Well, because she looks the part. She looks exactly like the comic book's counterpart, and she does the job well enough. Okay, so we established that people don't hate the race change, they just hate it when characters don't look like how they were originally described in the source material. Because people never envision their characters to be having a different appearance than the one presented in the source material. If they were black, they must remain black. If they were Asian, they must remain Asian. If they were white, they must remain white. If they were brown, they must remain brown. But what if the character playing the role looks exactly like the character in the source material, but the race is different? I mean, I know the case with Gal Gadot, but she's from Israel, so she gets minority points. But what if a white person replaces the role of a colored person? I am talking about the movie called Ghost in the Shell. I have watched the original anime movie and the 2016 one with Scarlett Johansson. The actor playing the role looks exactly like the one playing in the original movie. The same face shape, the same hairstyle. I think the casting was great, but people hate it just because they got the race wrong. But I thought that people didn't care about the race part. But so what's going on? And well, this phenomenon is called whitewashing, and that is politically a big no-no. I think the Ghost in the Shell movie was perfectly fine. I think it might even be the first anime adaptation to not suck entirely, considering the turds that we have had in the past like Dragon Ball Evolution, Death Note and Avatar The Last Airbender. I think Ghost in the Shell was the first masterpiece that we've had, but again people didn't like that because of the race part, and I will say this once and for all, I don't care about the race thing, I only care if the character looks like their counterparts in the source material, and the Ghost in the Shell did exactly that. Suppose there is an adaptation of your favorite book that you always loved, but they changed the race of one character or the other even though in the book it clearly states otherwise. But now that we have established the fact that studios changed the race of the characters for good reasons to make the world a better place and more wholesome, then you as a viewer must like what you see without question. After all, if the studios are trying to be more inclusive, why can't you do that? But personally, I think the studios are asking a bit too much from audiences' suspension of disbelief. Because now if you're reading a book, you have to imagine only the clothes of the character, not the person wearing them. Because the race, the skin color, the hair color, all could be changed in any adaptation based on the whims of the creatives. And I think that is completely unfair to the person who wrote the source material and the people who read it and loved it. I remember being really excited back in the day when they showed the cast of Justice League, because they all looked exactly like their comic book counterparts. And I also remember dying a little bit on the inside occasionally when my favorite character's gender or race was changed entirely. And I am a person of color, if you couldn't tell by the sound of my voice. I really want to be represented on the big screen. I would absolutely love that. But I don't want it by replacing an existing character. It almost feels like cheating, you know. But I think the point of everything that I've said so far is that I care about when the appearances of the characters are the same as it was in the source material. I don't care much for the race part. But maybe, just maybe, when studios change the race of the characters, and that gives little children something to look up to. For example, if black girls feel empowered looking at the new Little Mermaid movie, then isn't that nice and wholesome? Like, can I really argue with that? I don't think I can. And maybe I think I should be okay with the race swapping part, if not for myself, then the children feeling empowered from it. But at the same time, I think that this type of thing does ruin the experience of cinema a tad bit. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Now let me know what you think, because I don't want this video to be the start and end to this conversation. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you think I'm wrong, do you agree? Write down and I will be sure to reply. So this is it for this video, and for now, it's a goodbye.